If you are an affiliate marketer and you've ever wondered whether high-ticket affiliate marketing, which is affiliate marketing for high-ticket products, is the way to make large amounts of money quickly, then it might surprise you to hear my answer, which is not really. Not unless you do it in a specific way, the right way. Keep watching to find out more. Hi, my name is Naresh, and if this is your first time on my channel or any of my videos, then I'd like to warmly welcome you. I often post videos on my channel with all the tips and tricks and learnings that I have picked up over my years as an affiliate marketer. So if that sounds like the sort of thing that you might be interested in, then please click on the like and the subscribe button below so that you get notified every time I post a new video, right? With that said, let's get back to the question. Is high-ticket affiliate marketing really all that it's made out to be? Will it really help you as a person who's in the early stages of your affiliate marketing career to make large amounts of money quickly? Now, if you've spent any time at all in the affiliate marketing world, I'm almost certain that you would have come across messages like these, right? Make $1,000 in just one click, or high ticket $1,000 per sale affiliate programs you can join for free, $400 per sale, high ticket affiliate $5,000 daily, all this kind of stuff. And there's a lot of material out there which propagates the whole idea that high ticket affiliate marketing really is the way to go to make large amounts of money quickly. Yeah, and the myth that they propagate seems to be that it takes the same effort to sell high ticket courses or items as any other product, but you get many times the returns. So, why wouldn't you, make that effort for a high ticket? Because apparently you get the same kinds of returns, right? And the myth then goes on further to say, just send traffic to our done-for-you systems. We've set everything up for you. We've set up the funnels, we've set up the autoresponders, we've set up the sales pages, we've done everything for you. All you need to do is to send traffic and you can make huge commissions. We've done all the other work for you, right? And it sounds easy as pie because, somebody else has done everything. All you need to do is send traffic. And that is the myth that is being propagated. The reality, however, is a little different, because what they do not really bring out is that effort is only one part of the equation, right? You may, even if it is true, even if you accept that you need to make the same amount of effort and no more effort, for every effort you make, there is a response by the customer, right? Only then does the transaction become complete. For all your efforts, there needs to be an equivalent response from the customer. And that, I can tell you, is not the same for a low ticket item versus a high ticket item. Conversions are just not the same, because it stands to logic, right? If you had to purchase a $17 product vis-a-vis a $500 product, obviously, the response is going to be far different. I mean, the person is going to be much more hesitant. It's going to take a lot more to make that person actually go ahead and buy, right? So these are the different aspects of the reality, right? First of all, the myth goes that, look, if it's a low ticket item, you'll have to, sell like 10 times the amount. And here, if you make just one sale, you'll make the same amount of money. That's true. But it's also true that it's almost 10 times easier to sell that one product, right? Because it is so much more, it's so much more less risk. It's low risk, right? The second thing is, the conversion figures that they show you is not necessarily from cold traffic. I mean, you'll see a lot of these programs where they say, look, it's a very high converting program. It converts at almost 4%. It converts at almost 5% and so on. And then you automatically start making these calculations in your head and say, wow, if I send 100 people, then 5 people will buy and I'll make all that money. The conversion figures that they show you are not from the same kind of traffic that you would be sending, okay? Because they already have an audience that they have nurtured over years. It's there in their email list. Those are people who know them, like them, and trust them. So the kind of figures that they get with their audience is not likely to be the same kind of conversion figures that you will get with cold traffic that you send, right? And when they say just send traffic, everything else is taken care of, I think hidden in those 3 words is a lot of risk for you, because they tend to lose nothing. You are spending all that money, you are sending all the traffic. Their job starts when somebody has already entered the funnel, and then when somebody has actually purchased the product, right? So all the risk is on you. When you spend money on advertising to send the people there and to actually send it through the funnel and hope that a sale happens, the risk is really all on you. Done for you sounds attractive, but you never get to build your own business. This is the third aspect, right? In all of this, you remain the person who just brings somebody to their door and then leaves it at that. Where is your business? You make the commissions. If at all you're lucky, you will make some commissions, yes. But it is not a stable, sustainable business that you're building over there. Okay? Because in their systems, there is no provision for you to start building your list with all the traffic that you send. Okay? All that traffic gets captured by them and then it becomes their leads. And the fourth point is that ultimately, high ticket is great for scaling if you already have an audience. Therefore, in fact, this is pretty much the summary of all the other points. But for beginners, it is really not necessarily the best idea if you're going to be sending, especially if you're going to be using paid traffic to send, your people over there. You don't build up your business, your conversion rates are going to be low, and so it's not really a great idea to go out there and do this right at the beginning. Why is this like this? Why do customers behave in this particular manner? Now, for that, you need to really understand the psychology of buying a little bit. And I just want to spend the next couple of minutes trying to share with you the psychology of buying, right? Okay. So there was this person, in fact, there is this person called Seth Godin, who's considered to be like one of the doyens of internet marketing. He's like one of the wise old men of internet marketing. He's written many, many articles and come on many, many interviews and all. And he, at the end of all of that wisdom, has summarized it by saying this. He says, in internet marketing, the only two things that matter are trust and attention. Okay? If you get their trust and if you get their attention, that's pretty much all that there is to it. But hidden in those terms is a wealth of wisdom, right? So let me expand a little bit upon what he means. Okay? If you consider how people buy, okay, there are many factors, and I'm just going to take you through some of the key ones. First of all, this basically means that people will only buy from people that they know, like, and trust. See, in the initial days, when everything was new, people would generally follow, whatever link there was, and they'd go and they'd say, okay, let me try it out. If it's there, if it's up there as a website, or if it's up there as a page, then it must be pretty much true. But over years, people have started understanding that there are a lot of scamsters out there, that not everything is gospel, and they've become a little bit more cynical. They become more hardened consumers, they become more seasoned customers, and now they will only buy from people that they know, like, or trust. And this is even more so as the ticket size increases. As I said earlier, they may still be able to take a risk for a $10 product or a $17 product, because at the end of the day, it's not really much, even if it turns out to be really wrong. $17 is not a hit that is going to really impact them. But a $500 product, a $1,000 product, now these are products that can actually, if they go wrong with it, it's a big financial impact, right? So they are much, much more circumspect when it comes to this. So the key psychological lever that is to be used here to get people into the buying mode is to use something called micro commitment. And as I said earlier, $17 product, $10 product is not really considered to be much of a risk. And this is really the way to start getting people into that particular mode, which is for them to make a micro commitment, like a small commitment first, like a $7 or a $9 kind of an offering. And once they are in that mode, then the second psychological aspect kicks in, which is what I'm going to share with you right now. The second psychological aspect is that once they have bought from someone that, any product from someone, and they found some value in it, they are much more open to buying again, right? The tendency is to be consistent with our previous actions and to do what it takes to be right in our previous decision. We have this tendency to say, if you made a decision, then whatever you do later on, somewhere unconsciously you're trying to, either convince yourself or do the actions to make it a reality that your previous decision was right. We want to be right. Okay. So we always try and be consistent with what we've already done, or to be right, and do the things that are required to make our previous decision right. And this is what is called a consistency bias. And this is the second lever that we need to use, because once, as I said, once people have made a micro commitment and they've come into your world, once the consistency bias kicks in, then they are far more open to buying more things, right? The third psychological factor that we need to understand is people do like buying. It's not like they don't, because that's why so many things and products actually get sold on the internet. They do like buying. What they hate is being sold to. And again, this is something that has happened over a period of time because, more and more people have got the idea that, there are scammers out there and they do not want to be scammed. They don't want to appear fools. So they hate being sold to because unconsciously it feels like somebody is trying to fool them or somebody is trying to scam them. So the moment they feel a selling pressure, their walls go up. What we need to do is to find a way around these walls to lower the resistances and then to present something before them which looks like an opportunity rather than a pitch or a sell, right? And the best way to do this is to get them into the student mode. This is the trick followed by most of the top affiliate marketers today. And I'll tell you how it works. This system is called the ecosystem approach, okay? So this is how it works. I mean, like every other, approach, it starts off with an opt-in page, you send traffic there, and then people go through a funnel, right? There is a tripwire, which is a low ticket item, which is like a $7 or a $10 or a $17. And for that amount, that product seems like it's offering a ridiculous amount of value. It's almost stupid to say no. That's the kind of value that is offered. And it's deliberately designed like that because when the value equation is so high and the risk is so low, the chances are very high that that person will make that micro commitment, right? But once he makes that micro commitment and then he goes along the funnel, there are other upsells and there are other downsells. Upsells are other higher priced products and downsells are scaled down versions of the upsell. And as you encounter that, when that person is already in that buying mode, then the consistency bias kicks in. And that's where you become more open to buying some of these other things that are presented along the way as supplements, as additions to the core product to make it work even more effectively, right? So that's how it works. And then what happens is that the most advanced marketers then take you to a members area. So the tripwire that is being sold here is usually something like a course or a software that needs some training or whatever. But basically it's an excuse to get you into a members area where there are lessons, there is some coaching being given, some training being given, etc. And when the person goes there, that's when the third psychological shift happens, because now that person is not a prospect or a customer. When you're going through training that somebody is imparting you and somebody is teaching you, unconsciously you switch to a learner's mode. And when you're in a learner's mode, your receptivity to what the teacher is saying is far higher. Yeah, because we have this, cultural respect for teachers, right? In any culture across. So when somebody is teaching you, automatically you become far more receptive and you become far more ready to listen. And this is when a lot of recommendations are made, which are, recurring commission products. And then further along, once you're there in that person's world and now you have accepted that person unconsciously as your teacher, a little further along the way through emails or whatever is when they start inviting you to high ticket pitches. And this is really where the high ticket conversions that are being shown to you as being amazing converting products, the kind of high conversions are actually made like this. This is the way to sell high ticket items, right? Now, this is wonderful for an accomplished marketer who's got this entire setup and all of that. But as a beginner, there are some challenges that you will have to face, right? You may not have the authority or the expertise to actually set up coaching and to be training and all of that in that particular field at the moment, maybe or maybe not. You may not have the setup and the systems because that takes a lot of experience, a lot of expertise and a lot of money to be able to set up those systems and the way that it needs to be set up. And thirdly, even if you go by what the high ticket guys had said in the beginning, which is just send us, the traffic, we've got all the systems for you, you've got my authority, you can leverage my authority, they can say all of that. And even if you do that, they do not build your business. Even if you, make the commissions, they do not necessarily build your business. So really what you need is to be able to leverage somebody's authority or expertise, to be getting access to their setup and systems, and to get their support in building up your own business while all of the rest of this is happening, right? That is really what you need. And over the years, I've found maybe 3-4 people who really have done, taken things to this level and are really, really amazing places for beginner affiliate marketers to start out. And this is one of them.